Hi, have you ever been in a situation where as a Flutter developer you have developed a widget, a page, like some UI thing, and you wanted to make sure that it works correctly in different scenarios, but then this widget or this page was hidden in the app, or it was just hardly accessible, or basically those scenarios were impossible to reproduce and to see if they are handled correctly? If the answer is yes, then in this video I will show you a tool that hopefully can be helpful in such scenarios. This tool I'm talking about is Framy. Framy is a code generator that will create a separate application, a Flutter application for you, which will allow you to test your widgets out of the context, in total isolation, where you can play with them and see how they behave without any hassle. Obviously, if you have widgets and you want to make sure that, for example, if there is an error message displayed, a good way to do it is to write widget tests, which I highly recommend you to do. The problem becomes more complicated when, instead of making sure that the icon or the text or the widget is displayed, we want to make sure that this page looks good, or those components just seem okay to the user, because you can't really test those things. You need to see them with your eyes. And today I will show you on an example app how you can use Framy to actually see your widgets and see like how they behave. So I will be working on the design from Emmanuel Ikechukwu. Please forgive me if I pronounce it not good. This is the design is for the weather app. It is very simple. It is very nice. I really like it, and I think it will be good for this scenario. Now we will not do the whole design. We will just use some cards from the design and try to see them in isolation. So what we have is we have this blue card and we have this white card. I know they look very different from the original design. It is not the point to get the pixel perfect representation. The point is to just show you how it can, how Framy can be used to test those widgets. And the code is very simple. We have a material app. We have some theme data with some custom colors. Then we have a scaffold with some label and two widgets, weather preview card and the wine card. Weather preview card is the blue one, and it is like very simple, a container with some decoration and with some columns, icons, texts. Very simple thing. Yeah, and it accepts weather preview object as a dependency, and the weather preview is just a simple model that has temperature, feels like temperatures. This is this and this, and the weather condition, which is an enum. And we have also wind condition, which is also a very simple model, which is used for this widget. So this is the whole app, and now we will try to see those widgets in isolation and try to, for example, let's see how those widgets will behave if the weather is sunny or if the visibility is 110%. And we will use Framy for this. Framy is a tool that we at FreeDev developed. It contains of two packages, Framy Annotation and Framy Generator. On framy.dev there is a installation instruction how to do it, and what we need to do is we need to start with adding dependencies. So we will add Framy Annotation dependency in PubSpec. The current version is 0.1.1, Framy is in very early stage, so it is not stable yet. However, I think that it already... I can't copy, paste. Yeah, I like to leave build runner empty, and frame generator right now is at 0.1.4. And what we can do is we can get the dependencies. I'm using FVM as I am using dev channel. You can just use Flutter pubget, like it totally works on stable as well. But I just prefer dev channel. So we got the dependencies. And now what we can do? According to the guide, the only thing actually we need to do is add the Framy app annotation. Normally, I recommend it adding to the main widget of your app because it's it seems natural to use it this way. So we have the Framy app annotation, and then we just need to run the pubrun build runner watch command. Again, I recommend using watch instead of build, as then it will rebuild the application every time you change something that is relevant. So first time it will take a little longer, so let's give it a minute. And what Framy will do is it will generate a separate main file, which is completely different from your normal application, from this main file that you are using. But in this main file, there will be a Flutter application that will use the widgets that you are using in your app. So even though we will not use the same material app, we will use the same widgets so that we can test them in total isolation. Okay, it already succeeded. We can reload to have it to see it. And yeah, this is main.app.framy, the third application, and it has a lot of things generated already. Let's try to run it. Since I'm using the dev channel, I can run it on macOS, but you can easily run it on your simulator, preferably the iPad, like the big simulator instead of like the small device, but it also will work perfectly fine on small devices, so you can even run it on your device. And we get an error. So that was an easy fix. So yeah, this is the app that is generated. The first page is the typography page, where we can see the default text themes that are used in your application, or the color scheme showing all the colors that are in the material, in the theme data, and also like some material components to see how they look. However, those are the things that are default, right? And we want to see how it will work in our app. So what we will do is, in the main, we will add an annotation, Framy theme, to the class that contains the theme data. And we'll go to terminal. We will see that it rebuilt. We'll do hot reload. And now we will use the theme data that is in our application. So now we have this other color, and even in the color scheme, we can see that the card blue is this color. Yes, this is the same color. Yeah, so we have this. Okay, but I told you that we can use, that Framy is for testing widgets and not theme. So what we can do is we can do to the weather preview card widget and add Framy widget annotation. Let Framy rebuild it. If you add a new annotation, I believe that the good thing to do is to do hot restart instead of hot reload. And now we can see here weather preview card, which is the name of our widget. And we have null. Okay, so what happened is that weather preview card is now created with a preview that is a null. and it is not handling nulls correctly. To fix that, to weather preview class, we will add Framy model annotation. Now Framy model, what it does, it tells Framy that, hey, this is the model of the dependency that we are using. Please make me use it. We'll also add it to the Framy model. We'll also add it to the enum here. Let it rebuild. Let's do hot restart. And now in the weather preview card, we can see our actual card. And what you can also see is that here we have a dependency panel where we can set up the parameters that are sent to the widget. So since we annotated those classes with Framy model, now we can do things like that. We can say, like, we can type in anything in here, and for enum we can select the enum and see that, okay, it works fine. For example, we can see that in Windy there's like this weird cut in the icon. Yeah, we can work on that. But yeah, we can now test our widget. Yes, for example, we saw that it works pretty badly if here is null, right? So we cannot have null in the preview. But we can, for example, see what happens if the temperature is null. We'll see it like this. Or if the temperature is like a very big one. Yes. So basically we can test our widgets against many scenarios, and it just works. Yes, we only added those annotations. Now you can say that, okay, we can see it like this, but we are not developing the desktop application. We wanted to see in the, like, how it will look on the actual device. And luckily, there is a package called Device Preview. It was developed by Alois Daniel. Sorry if I pronounce it badly again. But the Device Preview package is basically for that. Basically, you can wrap a widget and see how it looks on different devices. And we'll use it. So, in the pub spec, we will add a dependency. And we will try to, we'll go back here and try to get it. And after we get it, what we need to do is we need to tell Framy, hey, you can use device preview. And since we added a new dependency, the watch method has been killed. We need to run it again. And now after we rebuild our application, we can go to our page and see that now we have the device preview in here. It is a bit small, we can make it bigger. Yeah. And now our widget is inside a frame, and we can change it to have another frame, or test it, for example, on iPhone 5, rotate it, hide frame, like change show keyboard, and so on and so on. Yes, so now you can, and still everything works here totally fine. So we can have our widget and see how it works with different dependencies and with and on different devices with only annotations added. What you can also say is that, okay, but I don't want to type in all those dependencies all the time. And there are presets for that. What are presets? Presets are basically, okay, I will do it here. Presets are basically like some, well, presets, the values for the models that you can predefine before and then use it in Framy easily. So what we can do is, well, what I like to do is I like to create a new file. Let's call it weather preview.framy and have a method here, weather preview. Let's call it sunny day. and it will return a weather preview. Now it's temperature, so let's make it hot, even hotter, and weather condition will be sunny. All right, and now let's annotate it with Framy preset. If we do it, and we'll see that it rebuilt. Let's do hot restart to make sure it works. And here now in the preview, we can select sunny day to just set the dependency that we wanted. And obviously you can have multiple things like that. For example, rainy and cold. And let's make it 3, -1, and the weather condition will be rainy. And then we can do it after after it rebuilt, and we can see, for example, let's rotate it. Yeah, so we can see now in a sunny day how it looks in a rainy and a cold day, or we can still play with it and make it ourselves. For example, here we can see that if the temperature is no, actually we can see that heavy rain on the iPhone 5 will not be displayed correctly, right? Because it's a long word. Yeah, that's something worth noting. And what we can do is we can add those annotations to other models. And other widgets as well. Even we can add it to our main homepage. Why not? Framy widget, yeah. See that it rebuilds, hot restarts to make sure it all works, and now we can see more widgets in here. For example, the wind card. You can see it expanded the whole, like for the whole device, and we can test that. Yeah, this sometimes happens with the device preview. I'm not sure why exactly, but we will work on it. Don't worry. Yeah, we said wind card. Yeah, and humidity is in kilometers. I don't believe that it's right. Okay, that's a bug. And let's say visibility is something like this. Yes, and we can test how it will look, obviously with all the device preview features as well. And let's see that in the home page, since home page has the weather preview dependency, the wind condition dependency, and the location, we can set all of that and play with the widget as we want. So yeah, this is basically how Framy works, and now it is in a very early stage, and there are a lot of features coming in, and a lot of bugs are still need to be fixed. But I believe that it may bring some value to you. If you think it as well, give it a try. Try to work on it. We are having Slack channel where you can join. You can find it on framy.dev. And I would love to hear any feedback from you. What do you think is missing here? What we should work on? Why you would want to give it a try? Why you would not want to give it a try? I will hear honestly anything, because yeah, I want to give it, we want to develop this tool for you, for the developers. So any feedback will be very, very welcome. The easiest way to actually give feedback, instead of if you don't want to use the Slack channel, here's the button. You can just add an issue on our GitHub page. We are having everything on GitHub, so you can just add an issue and we'll work on it. Here you can see what we plan to do in the given month, in the projects, even in the current week. So yeah, if you think this is something you would bring some value to you, please let me know, leave a comment, try to use it, let me know what you think, and have a great development in Flutter.